Here's a story about her. He knew his car door would hit the pile of snow against the fence when he opened it in the driveway. Bulging layers of clothing scraping against the dirty car as he shuffled to the back door of the sedan. The back door barely opened enough to pull out the 3 bags of groceries. It was dark and cold, and he knew she was inside crying. He knew nothing could make her happy, not today. His steps crunched in the snow and ice, with his arms full of bags. The thrust of his hip barely closed the car door, and that was the best part of his day. The man knew what he had done, and he knew what awaited him inside. The man always parked close to the fence in the driveway, giving his wife more room to open the car door when she pulled in. She hated the cold and hated going inside, and she hated him. He shoveled the walk and salted the driveway like a good man, always making sure to throw extra salt beneath the car door where she got out. The groceries weren't much. A few vegetables, butter, a can of beans, bacon, milk, bread, and a bar of chocolate for her. She loved chocolate, and she loved her slippers, and she loved when he wasn't home. Her cigarette burned in the ashtray. She stood up to move away from the kitchen table where he would soon enter. A coffee cup half filled with the wine left on the table. A rush of cold air when the back door opened would remind her of a childhood where her father couldn't keep the heat on. A father too drunk to care and too old to split wood. She walked into the living room and turned on the TV to pretend she'd been there all along. The kitchen, however, was her home. She smoked there. She read magazines there. She felt the presence of her child there. The basement door was in the kitchen. It remained closed because there was nothing but sadness down there. Sadness and a box of memories she would never open again. As the back door swung open and he kicked the snow off his boots, the clamor was a familiar sound. Cold and slick grocery bags rubbing together, a down jacket scraping along the refrigerator as he turned sideways to enter the door. The sniffle of his nose, a cold breath of relief upon entering the warmth. The aluminum door cracked, closed behind him, and the chain rattled. As he laid the groceries down on the floor, he knew she had just left the kitchen. He knew why she was crying, and he knew why she was smoking. The house was warm. At least the house was warm.